Hello, happy Friday everyone. It's Philip Norton here from Norton Trading, and I want to take a look at a couple of the stocks that we'll be watching next week and where we can expect hopefully some big moves, maybe some breakouts along the way. Now, we got about 11 stocks to run through today, as you can see over here on my close watch list. So we'll try to be pretty quick with these, just a little explanation of what we're looking for next week. However, if you're watching any of them as well and you want to go ahead and request maybe a little more in-depth technical analysis of that stock and why I'm expecting what I'm expecting to happen, please go ahead and post in the comments, let me know, and I can most definitely go a little more in detail where necessary. The first stock we're actually going to look at today is DropBox. DBX. We have been seeing this stock in quite a bit of a downtrend recently. However, we have seen this stock really find a bottom over the last couple of weeks here, and it's consolidating into this nice wedge. I do expect it to fall a little bit first. As you can see, over the last 2 days, we really have bounced off this 27 line. It's kind of double tap here. So I'm actually looking for this to pull back a little more over the first couple of the days next week and retouch this support line. This is something definitely to watch for. If you're looking to be bullish on this and looking for that breakout, good place to get in would be if we do touch and hold this support line early next week. That might give you a way to kind of ride up a little bit and have a little cushion in case we do fail on the breakout. You might also look to take maybe a half position down here on the support line, and then once we've actually broken the downtrend, then you could go ahead and double up that position and try to ride that breakout. So hopefully we get this breakout next week. You can see there's enough of a wedge. We might be waiting 2 weeks on this one, but we'll go ahead and keep that on our radar to watch for next week. The next stock to take a look at is TRXC. So TRXC has been doing pretty well recently, looking for a breakout. We did have kind of this recent high today, however, definitely failed, bumping up into 684 and pulling back down. I actually do like the way the stock has been moving and expect it to go back up and retest that high in a couple of days. We might see it kind of break down more into towards this $6, $6.05 range before moving its way back up. Actually, in fact, looking at this thing, if we break it down a little bit more, we can actually see that the price action along this $6, $6.07 area is always been much stronger than it was today at these recent highs. So you'll see when we're breaking through here, quite a bit of price action, even as we came back down and touched it again, quite a bit of volume there. And then today, as we got up against the high, very, very little buying in volume. So something definitely to watch is, of course, as it comes back down to this 6, what type of volume comes in there? Are we getting a lot of buying as well back at the 6 and a nice strong little pop there and support? And if so, then we're definitely going back to the highs. And then as we reach the highs again, what kind of price action are we going to see at the highs? Do we see more strength, more volume come in? Because then we're definitely looking at a breakout and a move higher. However, if we definitely see lower volume and not as much buying against support or another big bounce off that, then we're looking at kind of a double top and we'll move down from there. So really two things to watch, but I do like this coming down to the $6, $6.05 range. I'm going to be watching that price action over the next couple of days to get long on a position and ride it back to top, and then hopefully even further if we do have a breakout from there. The next stock on my watch list here is GALT. So GALT recently kind of popped over this recent high, however, holding underneath the $7. Failed there. We did have a little bit of a pullback here. I still like this short-term uptrend that we're in, and this actually is going to give us maybe a chance to get in at a little better range if we actually pull back to the support line. So here we have this short-term trend line. I'm looking for maybe the first couple of days of the week, kind of not too different than TRXC and DBX. Get maybe a little bit of a pullback here to support, watch that price action at support, and then have it go back and retest that $7 high. So as we get that pullback to support will be my entry point. And then as we move back to 7, hopefully watch the price action there for a breakout. Even if it's a double top there, we're going to pull back. At least that'll give me an opportunity to take some short-term profits there. And next we've got two actually Chinese tech stock. Basically all of Chinese tech has been beat down pretty severely over the last several months. Those are Iqiyi and WB. Iqiyi actually pulling back again today, is sitting right down here at our support line. It's really been wedging in there. It's something we've been watching over the last several days. So we'll definitely keep watching that close as we pulled back to it. Of course, if we break this support line, we might be looking to pop all the way down here, about $25, just under there before we move higher. However, if we are able to hold this line as we have several times, we could be looking to move back up towards. So watch that line first thing on Monday to see where we are there, if we're breaking down even further, or if we're actually having a green day. and holding support, might be able to find yourself a nice buying opportunity to get in before the breakout. I know several people have been looking for kind of that buy the dip, that final dip here on Iqiyi. So if we do break below this, we'd be looking for that dip down in the 25 range. However, if we do hold this, that might be the best you're going to get. You might not get much of a dip lower here, but of course, throughout next week, we'll definitely be looking for this to keep consolidating in my mind, to keep consolidating here and then get that breakout roughly midweek somewhere in there. The other Chinese tech stock, as we're talking about here, is WB. Now, WB is not at the bottom of the trend channel. It is actually here closer to the top, though we did see after 3 green days in a row, it finally get back up to VWAP, which it hasn't had since June. But we are able to bump up against VWAP. However, it rejected pretty hard against VWAP and have really run down for most of the day in this. That is not a good sign. Definitely looking that we might be moving back lower in that. We're close to the top of the channel as well. And you can see from a little more of a technical thing, while buying has ramped up, volume has decreased. It really tells me not a lot of volume, but not a lot of sellers either in that. Now that we've got this reject, if we are able to break below low of day today, you might see those those short sellers jump back in and pull this sucker back down to 70. So that's really what I'll be watching next week, is a pullback here on WB. And next we'll take a look here at Walmart. Now Walmart isn't quite the big breakout mover that some of the other stocks we've been looking at are, but Walmart is in the process of a nice big cup and handle here from that 110. And I look for that to continue. I actually bought some here at 95. If we break out here over really 98, look to add more again on the break of 100. And as we keep pushing up and this kind of cut motion keeps going. As you can see, there is a little bit of a downtrend short term since we got into this cup. That's why I'm talking about adding portions as I go. You wouldn't want to buy the full portion here because, of course, you could break down. And then if you break below this 94.20, then we're looking at a gap fill here down to 91. So there is definitely some risk involved here on the Walmart trade immediately. Again, Walmart's not too fast of a moving stock, so not as risky as some of the other ones, but definitely recommend buying small portions here. And then once we get above really up this high, but really 98 above top of this candle, then you could be looking for definitely to add some more to your position. And we're going back up to 100. And if we break there, then we would definitely be looking for that breakout all the way up to retest highs at 110. Stock here that I like here for kind of more of a long run than some of the other stocks, but it is a piece that I am watching now. Not only do I hold a small position in, but looking to add more next week as we get up closer to that 98 point. Or of course, if we go the other way and we come back down and test 94.20, we'll be looking at the price action there. If we break there, we'll want to get out of our position and then hopefully reload once we get back down to the bottom of the gap. And finally, I want to talk about 3 stocks today that are really my must watches on Monday, my first trade of the day kind of things for Monday. And those are Kohl, SitchFix, and Teva. So Kohl's today has been in this uptrend for several months now, and as we really kind of got underneath this 82.40 line, we've tapped it a few times, almost like a triple top on it, if you will, and we kind of pulled back here to that support line. We were sitting on that yesterday, both support and VWAP. Well, we broke those today with quite a bit of selling. And so this is my first trade to look at for Monday, is to get in and ride this wave down. It looks like we'll be going much lower here in Kohl, so definitely a good short here. You also have that support line in the VWAP right above you that we just broke, so the risk isn't that big. If you get in and then you have that resistance right above you, you know where your stop loss is and where to get back out. So first trade for Monday will be to watch the open on Kohl's here and hopefully ride this much lower, maybe even all the way back down to this 200 SMA. Next, we have SitchFix. Now, SitchFix has been on quite a good uptrend and stuff lately. I know a lot of people were very, very bullish on it, but as we hit just over 52, we have seen a pretty big pullback today. It almost looks like we kind of have a little double tap here, double bottom in this, but if you break it down to the hourly, you're going to see that we're actually running right along here on that hourly 200 SMA, and that's what we pulled back to, and we've got a little bit of support there. But as you can see, we tapped it, pulled back really to the 9, which really shows that we're still in that downtrend and have come back to it. I'm expecting this to break. You can see volume ramping up here at the end of the day against this support. It's probably going to close below it today. I expect it to open even lower on Monday. So we'll be watching that foreplay all the way down to the long-term trend line. So that'll be one of my first trades on Monday to see how that opens and that price action at the open there, and look for that continued downward move there on SitchFix. And finally, our last stock to take a look at is TVA. So what's important to look at Teva is we have kind of a head and shoulders move here. It's kind of a big shoulder and a little shoulder, right? A little head. But we really have is that we bumped up against this, just over 25. So 25.14 line here. We came back and we broke it. But we broke it for one day, came back to it, and then started the downtrend. We've retraced back up to that line, and we haven't even broken, the previous high. So that tells me that this is going downward. You've seen volume as we've gotten closer and closer up to that. Even though we've had buying, we've seen volume decrease. So which means it's the sellers that have been missing from this situation. And now that we've had a little bit of a bearish candle here, I expect this to continue, and that'll bring the short sellers back in for more. They've seen the weakness in this, and you can expect the bears to feed on that. I expect to see ramping volume over the next couple of days, and this to come back down and retest VWAP and maybe even move lower for there. That is one of my first watches again on Monday, is to watch Teva for a continued break down lower. And if we do, once we retest VWAP, we may look to even break that more and start this kind of stair step down move as we go lower and head back towards the 200. So be short there on Teva on Monday as well. Well, thanks everyone for joining me. And as I mentioned at the beginning, if you are looking at any of these stocks yourself and looking for a little more in-depth technical analysis on any of them or have any questions, please let me know. And as always, please subscribe so you can follow all of my videos as I release them. Thanks everyone. Have a good weekend.